So what we're going to do here is I'm going to give you a full body experience of integration, which would really be like a way of being inclusive and connected within yourself, and some resiliency, which can be packaged as understanding that this is not just about feeling good, but about getting better at feeling. And we're going to move into an abundant mindset, which just opens us up to different ways of thinking and tuning into that sense of continual flow, regeneration, and spaciousness. So find a comfortable seated or lying down position. And if you are driving, either pull aside or just be really mindful to keep your eyes open, or turn this off for later. So while you settle into your chosen position, just allow these first few moments for you to really tune into your body and allow yourself to move and edit your posture. If you're lying down, you might want to grab a pillow or a blanket. And if you're seated, you can tune in to see if it feels best to have your legs extended wide and long or crossed. You could lean against a chair or wall or sit up on a block or bolster. Just allow these few breaths to be an opportunity for you to tune in a little more deeply to what will feel comfortable, what will offer you the support you need so that you can just breathe and get to know yourself a little more intimately. Now, as you tune into the quality of your breathing, just notice at first if it's loud, if it's quiet, if it's deep, if it's shallow, or if either the inhale or the exhale are longer than the other. And if you naturally are inclined to pause in between each breath, or if it just flows continuously. And notice how the longer you stay focused on your breath, the more you notice that it shifts and changes. One inhale suddenly being a little more longer, a little deeper. Maybe occasionally there's a natural desire to open your mouth and let out a gentle sigh that vibrates through your throat. Now, as we move into the depths or the journey within, one of the important tools I like to practice is to visualize my breath as oars. So as if I am doing the journey, this river into the sometimes unknown of our own inner environment. The breath are the oars that allow us to continue navigating down the middle as much as possible. So if you notice that you're drifting a little more into sleepiness or even hypoarousal, feeling yourself shut down, feel really sleepy, then utilize your inhale a little bit more. So you'll take at least one breath where your inhale is much more expansive. It takes much longer than the exhale. And then a regular old exhale. And then just notice where you are. And you might need to do a couple or 3 longer inhales to get yourself back into that window of tolerance, presence, and awareness. And on the other end of the spectrum, if you do find yourself feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or your thoughts are spinning, or you're feeling really unsafe, I do invite you at those moments to open your eyes and take in your environment a little bit more to help ground you. And also lengthen your exhale. So allow your exhale to be longer, more spacious, more connected. You do that 1 to 3 times, and that will help support you back to that middle point. So your breath is not only your companion, it's also the direction that we're headed. Move in to meet your breath. Various sensations of each moment of each breath. Discern the difference between what it feels like to have full lungs and what complete emptiness feels like. Can you notice that even in complete emptiness, is there also a sensation of fullness? And at the top of your inhale, with that fullness of breath, can you tune in and notice an emptiness? Just continue breathing. And if there's any confusion or frustration or any other emotion that is coming to the surface, just actually allow that to be a part of your experience as well. You're welcome too. An inclusive state where you are willing to feel unconditionally. Just keep coming back to what your breath is showing you. Just 3 more deep, expansive breaths. Now allow your awareness to float up to the backs of your eyelids. And just as you were bearing witness, noticing and observing the sensations of your breath, we're now going to practice noticing the mental activity within the mind. And you might notice that it's just the simple act of shifting your awareness up towards the mental chatter, that maybe things got quiet or things got louder. And rather than getting fixated on any words or any stories, just notice more of the architecture. Does one thought complete itself before it moves to the next? Or is it jumping around? Are there any pauses in between thoughts? Or is it continuous? Does your mind wander to familiar places? Or is it something new and unfamiliar? And when there is spaciousness, you just notice what that feels like. And the quality or nature of the thought that pulls you out of spaciousness. You notice how some thoughts have a feeling tone. It's not just a thought moving through you, but it actually creates a feeling, a sensation, a chemical reaction that you notice. And now come back to your breath. All of your awareness drops into the process and the sensation of your body being breathed. Noticing if your breath, the pace shifts once you pay attention to it. Notice if you're moving towards the banks of the river on either end of that middle window of tolerance. And utilize the navigational oars of your breath to come back to presence. Now, as we move into this next portion, if again at any point this is feeling overwhelming, just open your eyes and allow yourself to take in your surrounding and focus on your breath. I'm going to take a moment to call in the experience of fear. And this might be right at the surface for you already or nearby. And we can utilize our mental activity by even recalling a time recently that you were experiencing fear. And as soon as you have access to the raw sensation of this moment, feeling fear in your body, to release any stories, any mental activity, any rumination, and move in to meet the sensation of fear. What does it feel like? Holding space for confusion or that moment as if someone's face is censored on a screen. So you know they're there, but you can't pick up on the detail. But the more you just breathe and be willing to continually go in, meet the sensation. Notice the edges. Perhaps there's a certain area of your body where you feel fear more than other areas. Or it could be whole body. Or you might notice a numbness or a temperature change. As you continue to hold space with curiosity, soon it might begin to move or shapeshift. Can you just observe that? And if you haven't been able to even access fear in this moment, to instead just allow yourself to notice what did come to the surface. What is at the surface? Can you be with that? Whatever is there for you, through the medium of felt perception, be with it. Send it your breath. Give it space. Be with it by being willing to feel it. No need to be in action or to move into analyzing. Just stay with it at the level of felt perception. What do you notice? And with your next exhale, make an audible sigh and create the sense of release as you rinse yourself out. Do that a couple times. And now invite in the experience of love. Be patient as you hold space and continually invite in the experience of love. And you may recall someone near and dear to you that you love, that you feel love for or from. Or imagine what it would be like to feel love right here, right now. Tuning into your heart and whispering love. Feeling your breath as if it is whispering love. And even if you are not able at this moment to access love, to allow yourself to just be with what is at the surface right now. As we all release the mental activity, the problem solving, the meaning maker, the analyzing, let that go as you drop in to meet love at the level of raw sensation. What do you notice? And even if there is resistance, to open your hands and allow resistance to be there too. All is welcome. Just notice where in your body you feel love. Or where you feel the resistance to love. Be willing to just feel. Observe without judgment. No sensation too small or too subtle to be felt and seen and loved. Notice how your breath has shifted. How would love breathe? Notice how the sensation moves. Or maybe it disappears and a new sensation draws your attention. Maybe it's like popcorn popping off all over. Or it could be one big cannonball weighing you down. Or absolutely any other sensation. Just be willing to feel for a few more breaths. Now, as you continue breathing, can you honor each breath as the unique, medicinal, energetic breath that it is? Be with your breath like an old friend who just showed up at your doorstep and physical distancing is over and done with. And you get to be with your friend and embrace him or her for the first time in a long time. It is through this spaciousness of breath that we access our ability to be responsible, so that in every moment we can say, we choose to say, I am enough. Even in the face of the exact opposite sensation that causes negative self-talk, to be able to notice with spacious breath and respond with I am enough. It is from I am enough that we then get access to the release of any phrase that starts with I will be happy when. In the spaciousness of I am enough, we know that happiness is now. And it is a practice every moment. And when we are able to continually release the I will be happy when, we then tap into the regenerative cycle of giving and receiving generously. In spaciousness, there is no lack, because even in lack, there is fullness. And in spaciousness, there is no fear, because even in fear, there is love. Recommit here to be with your breath once again. Being willing to start over again and again. Now allow your breath to amplify the energetic power of these words as you allow yourself to stay open to the regenerative cycle of giving and receiving. I am wealthy on all levels. I trust the abundant universe. I am abundance in every mindful breath. Now allow your awareness to begin the journey outward as you notice the sound your breath is creating in your space. You sense the four walls around you and notice the sensation of the ground beneath you that has so lovingly held and supported you for the last 25 minutes. Now, as you deepen your breath, notice where in your body there's a desire to move. Begin moving, and move slowly to notice the ripples of your movement, the internal waves, until your whole body has been touched with your medicinal and mindful movement. I like to visualize the smoke billowing off a candle and emulate that movement with my body and see where that takes me. Spending more time in the slow, juicy transition between extremes. Can you get every joint to be touched with some movement? Notice the quality of your breath as you move. And for your next 3 breaths in movement or stillness, we'll take a deep inhale and an audible exhale. So deep inhale, expand, lift. How full can you get? Let it all go. 2 more. This last one, make it a little louder so anyone that's near you is going to be looking at you through the corner of their eye. And with a gentle grin on your face, you can roll onto your left or right side if you are, or if you were on your back. And if you're already seated, you can just find some gentle oscillations of cat-cows and then settle into a stacked alignment. And for those in the fetal position, you can use your hands and bring yourself back up to seated. And if you are joining me live, if you feel comfortable with taking your, or putting your video back on so I can see your faces. And we can bring our hands to heart center. I want to thank each and every one of you who are here tonight and who are listening to this at a later date. Thank you for being here, for listening, for being open, and for spreading the sparkle and sunshine within your heart. From my heart to yours. Namaste.